I really salute the topic of this meeting today, conflict, poverty and fragility. We cannot just go on, do business the same way as before. And this was very eloquently showed by Helena, that to really address the issue of people living under conflict, poverty and fragility, that needs something different. I would like to argue, of course, I'm very biased. You have, given my maternal health background, but I would argue that as we work in fragile states, one of the things that must be done early on, as has been said, is maternal, newborn and child health and expanding to the broader reproductive health agenda. For two reasons at least. One is because these are the most vulnerable people and these are the future of development, as has been said. The other is, in my view, in my experience, and what we can read is that the let's say, vertical approaches of immunization and also some of the work we can see on HIV/AIDS, very successful work that we are very thankful for, but it has been more vertical in nature. But you cannot do that when you want to develop maternal, newborn and child health. You automatically address health systems issues like the supply chain overall, like the gathering of some local statistics that you can use for local planning, call it HMIS, Health Management Information Systems if you wish. But you automatically will address the health systems agenda, meaning that you will also, the things that you do on the maternal, newborn, child health side will also eventually benefit the care of accidents, for instance. So women, girls, maternal, newborn, child health, reproductive health, these are things that have at least two justifications for us to address them. And I think it's important in this room to say that reproductive health issues cannot wait until some later time when the peace has come and the state is reorganized. These are things that need to happen now. You need to be there with contraceptives and other aspects of reproductive health. So these are important. And having the floor for just a minute, I'd like to give a message especially for Sweden. And Sweden, of course, has been a groundbreaking country when it comes to sexual and reproductive health and rights. It has really been groundbreaking, and the voice of Sweden is important. So I would like to just make a plea for Sweden reconsidering joining the Global Financing Facility, the GFF. For those of you who are not fully informed on this, we have global funds for vaccinations, Gavi, the Global Alliance Vaccine Initiative. And we have the global fund that Marijke represents that deals with HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria. And now, since a year back, there is the conception of a new fund, the Global Financing Facility, that is somewhat different. But it addresses reproductive health, the Global Financing Facility, reproductive health and the health of women and girls, which somehow has been something many of us have been wishing for. Why do we have these other two global funds, but we don't have a Global Financing Facility for women and girls and reproductive health? And now we have one. It's still a bit of an experiment. It still needs to be shaped. Sweden has chosen to stay out for formal reasons, which I well understand and respect, but we are discussing how these formal reasons can be overcome, and let's say that Sweden can join in and shape this in a way that can make it satisfactory also for Sweden. So that's my final message, and that to me is a current challenge right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Ulrika, the government started off by launching a feminist foreign policy. And we are basically talking about health and fragility, and it all comes down to women and girls. What is it that Sweden can do when it comes to this perspective? And do you agree that it's actually about women and girls? What is it? Have you already shaped the landscape by the feminist foreign policy, or what is it left to be done?
No, I think that the feminist foreign policy is a very good way of keep pushing ourselves as Sweden, being an important player in this field for many decades. But we need to improve, and I think that the policy discussions with regard to sexual and reproductive health shows this. I mean, we took important decisions back in the 1990s with regard to this area, in the Cairo meeting, for instance. But we see now, even in Europe, that we need to take these discussions once again, and we're actually not moving forward, but as Sweden, trying to see that we're not moving backwards sometimes. So it's really important for us to keep up the feminist analysis within all areas of the Sustainable Development Goals. And I think that the sexual and reproductive health and rights are actually core business. If I talked about health as core business, I think that sexual and reproductive health and rights are actually core business within the health area. And of course, we need to see this as important as it is in the conflict-ridden areas, but especially also for the young and coming generations, as have been said. But I also wanted to address, because it sounded a bit mysterious, that because of formal reasons, Sweden has not taken yet the decision to be part of the fund. But the formal reasons are actually the ones that I explained, saying that we need, as agents of change, being back donors, policy makers, those who actually do the work on the ground, we need to organize ourselves. And this is why I put such a great importance on the core funding. We have a huge system of actors, and sometimes Sweden believes that creating new funds is not perhaps the most efficient way of working. These are the formal reasons. We want to find responsible ways of really strengthening the different systems, supporting the systems on the ground. But then we know that there, and this was also something that I mentioned, that we don't have so many like-minded in this, but we want to bring the discussion because we think it's so important. And many times we move into the different new funds that are there because we also want to engage and to see to that they are being developed in the best way. But I do believe still that we need to get back to basic. We have promised ourselves as an international community to commit to efficient development and efficient ways of working with aid and development cooperation. And many of us that have done this for decades, we know how to do this, and we need to be responsible with regard to this discussion as well. But we need to have it, but also to see how we can be good partners in different new initiatives.